What is up, boys? Some exciting stuff has been happening with the channel here. You'll see this video I uploaded 3 days ago. It's already my 4th highest viewed video. I don't know why it's not updating here, probably because it's growing so quickly. So this is actually part 4 of the series. I appreciate everybody who's joined midway through the series. If you guys haven't watched episode 1 and 2, I would go ahead and suggest that, as well as 3. Which is the video that was right after this one. We're going to be talking about the Reddit today, and then I'm just going to do a little bit of an update before I start on episode 4. So this video here, this one here, has created quite a bit of backlash. It's got, if we look at the analytics here, 158 comments and 840 views. So it's got quite a bit of a conversation going around it. On the back end, I'm actually banned now from the subreddit because of what I said in that video, which is interesting to me because Libby's allowed to say this on her stream and it's no big deal because it doesn't affect her job, as she said. But yet I posted on a personal YouTube channel and I get banned from everything. And then I'm also not allowed to contact her anymore. She said, I will no longer be contacting you given the nature of the content you've produced. Any communication from this point onward will be from another representative at Congregate. I'm not going to show you that because there's personal identifying information for her boss, which I know because I interviewed with her. So I don't know who I'll be talking with. I'm going to be sending her another message on Friday if she doesn't get back to me, because I'm guessing she's never going to get back to me on who I will be contacting. It's probably just going to be like, hey, I'm just stalling you here so that you don't tell my boss about what happened. So I am also banned from the subreddit. We can check here. You can check here 3 days ago I was permanently banned from participating for continued and repeated harassment of Congregate staff, which I don't really understand how I harassed her when she said 10 times worse things on her stream, and I don't understand why I'm not allowed to have an opinion about her job as a community manager. That seems to me like not a very good approach to running a community, but who am I to say I don't run her job? I just do jobs that are more important than her. So this video today we will be covering Reddit part 4, and then part 5 will be over John, and then I'm going to edit all that, put it out, and then I will record part 6, which will be the closure, and then I'm going to put it all together into one big video, and then I'm going to release that. It's probably going to be, it depends on how long these parts are, probably like an hour and a half, so not quite as long as this one here. But yeah, very interesting to see the what she responded to here. And another thing is that Joey put out a video on this video, but then it has been removed. I don't know why. I don't talk with Joe Week. We've butted heads a couple times before, so we don't really talk anymore. But I'm assuming that it was a response from Libby, probably promising him something that she will never deliver on. That's just what I'm guessing from past experience, but I don't know that for sure because I don't talk with Joey. Anyway, we're gonna go right in here to the Reddit. So if we look at Reddit here, you see that I've started posting 2 years ago. I've posted quite a few times. I've never said anything. Once I said something bad, I called A spineless on here, because you can see in episode 2 why I called him spineless, because he was not willing to stand up to the other mods, and he was also a little bit of a flake. So I got banned the first time for that, which in my opinion is kind of garbage. Also, part 5, which is coming out next week, is going to be very interesting. So I think you guys are going to want to watch that. It's not going to be too long. I don't think. Probably should be like 15-20 minutes. It'll be super exciting. Delete it. I don't know how you pronounce it. So this here shows you all the posts that have been deleted from the subreddit. So you can see here, if you guys noticed, if you guys remember from the 2.5-hour video that I put out, that I got banned from her Discord for claiming that over 50% of posts on Reddit were deleted. I could prove here that even now in the last, I guess this is what, like 13 days, that it's actually, or quite a bit higher than that. It's actually 52%. So it's not that higher, but still, you can see some of the posts here. Some of them save. So I don't know. You can see, I'll post this down below so you can see everything that gets deleted. It's very interesting because it's not like, it's all stuff that's like negative about Congregate that, I don't know. It's stuff that really she can't defend because it's not true, I don't think. Yeah, it's really nice to see all the stuff that gets deleted because there's a lot of stuff. There are stuff that gets deleted by actual accounts. So I guess it may be slightly less than 50%. It was, when I posted it, it was over 50% was either mod or auto mod. And my concern was that the auto mod was too high. And you can see here when I'm scrolling through how many auto mods there are in there. If it's too soon, they don't know if it's mod or auto mod, but it's pretty interesting regardless. And you can read all the stuff here that was banned because just because it's removed from the subreddit doesn't mean it's necessarily removed from the poster. But anyway, let us go start with what I've said on the subreddit over the years to prove that I have like some sort of credibility when it comes to the subreddit. So my Reddit account is pretty large, like 33,000 karma. A lot of it's from not Surviv because Surviv's dead, so you can't really grind karma on it. Alright boys, well it's been a while since I recorded the intro. Unfortunately, I have been busy with between dealing with Libby stuff and creating like 100 videos that way, as well as just general life. Had a wedding to go to, Christmas, all that jazz. Anyway, so I'm back to recording this video here. I believe this video will be coming out. This video is coming out January 3rd. I'm pre-recording it on the 28th, so I'll have a little bit of time to edit it. So if anything changes between now and then, I apologize that it's not the most up to date. So we're gonna start here. This is Reddit. I think I said in my intro, I'm gonna cover it briefly in case I didn't. Reddit's had a lot of issues. Over 50% deletion rate. We can check here. So chilling at over or just under 50% again. I'm gonna go through all the posts that I've ever put. Gives me a little bit of credibility as I've been writing on this stuff for years now. So here we go. So my first post here, how to tell if somebody's using cheats. This is a paragraph on like how to tell if somebody's using cheats. And this is from me, who looked through the source code and figured out its errors. I also experimented a couple times in some pub lobbies back when cheats first started in order to see some of the weaknesses in it. Keep in mind these are the old generation of hacks, so there's a major difference between the current ICE hacks and these past hacks because these are the first iterations. These were hacks that were part of a Chrome extension, not a third-party extension. So we're just going to read through it here. No skin. The mod pack includes an auto collector, meaning that running through items will pick them all up if you have space for them. This includes ammo, adrenaline, meds, etc., but not skins. Skins, since cosmetic, are not automatically picked up. If you see someone late game without a skin, they could be hacking. Keep in mind a could, not they are hacking, because it's impossible to just say that anybody with no skin is a hacker. Twitching. The auto aim has some timing issues where basically it will go between where the cursor is pointed and where it's supposed to aim very rapidly, making it hit where a future bullet. So basically if you're aiming, it'll look like this. Your character will go like this. This isn't just a glitch, it's for someone it's not really aiming where their gun is firing. Sometimes auto aim goes for the closest target instead of the one that they're firing at, so it can randomly turn and shoot someone else and then back at you. So basically if somebody's aiming over here and somebody over here walks in too close, instead of firing this way, it'll all of a sudden go like that and just change quickly if this guy walks too close and walks back. So that's a sign that it was cheats. Crazy flicks, that some people pride themselves in their shotgun flicks, basically doing a 180 and shooting at you. But other guns such as snipers, rifles, or even crazy 180 shots that are immediately nail you could be a hack. They also could just be good players, but if there are multiple things in here that you think may make it seem like someone is hacking, and this one applies too, it could be more realistic. Basically if somebody's aiming at you and all of a sudden they just completely turn around robotic-like and snipe you, most likely they could be cheating. If they look semi-natural, it probably could be natural. So randomly changing guns during gunfights. I'm not talking about switching between first and second slot. I'm talking about dropping their guns for another one randomly and without explanation. The code automatically selects the best gun, so having a gun in their hand could force the gun to switch out with one lying on the floor. Self-explanatory. Shooting at walls randomly. Aimbot isn't very good at recognizing that someone can't be shot through a wall, so sometimes if someone randomly turns around and shoots the wall at where you're at, they could be hacking. So like if you're through a wall, they could just shoot the wall instead of you. Someone automatically knows where you are in a spot that could generally be difficult to see. Talk about those times where you're perfectly hidden between some trees or in a bush. Now to a really well trained, or to people with good monitors, it can be noticed where you are in a bush. But if someone immediately beelines towards your location in a hidden place, they may be hacking. You can see through items using an alpha reduction, also known as ESP. Recent massive increase in stats. Those people with aimbots may have drastically increased their stats. Their overall time kg is 0.5, and then all of a sudden for the day they have a 9 kg. They could have installed a hack. It's pretty obvious if somebody's trash and all of a sudden they're good. Something's gone up. If anybody else has been watching out for hackers and have any more tips, please feel free to comment them below and I will add them in here. Suggested by username. So this is if somebody had ideas. So keep in mind this is very well received. 92% upvotes with 33 upvotes, which was a lot back then. Not too much in comments here. Solo teaming more of an issue than hacks. Just Joker, which is, does Joker still post? Oh yeah, look, so he's very popular in here. You can see by negative 52 karma. Not too much here. Yeah, we can just move on to the next one. Rest in peace, Jake. But we're gonna move on to the next one here, which is why does Flinger post matter? This is just me getting upset with Surviv mods, because for a while there was I think it was maybe a different set of mods on Reddit than it was on Surviv main. Now it's just Saul, who doesn't do anything, John, who doesn't really do anything, and Libby. I'm banned, so I can't see the mods anymore. Or maybe that just got removed, but I am banned, so I don't know. What's the point of adding flare if they're all just generic media? How about instead of forcing everyone to flare, we could make flaring, not flailing, optional for people that have questions and stuff like that, so that flares are not overused and we can actually look out for them. Basically, they had really poorly utilized flares, or because everybody's just posting pictures and stuff, which can only go under media. I don't know if there were any mods here. We have terrible mods for this stuff that only matters. There's only one mod. Oh, this was the one. Amazing Hayden. 2 Discord mods, 2 devs plus 1 devs alt. He doesn't really do much, and Hayden just puts controls, neither doesn't do anything. I don't know if Hayden does anything at all. Oh, it's Lamp. Hayden is Lamp. I didn't know that. Oh, this is an interesting post here. Making flares a mandatory inclusion will be removed as complete idiocracy. Flares are by no degree required to access your post, and why make this a new rule? Basically, it was just a waste of time and a waste of, and it would just clutter up auto mod because things were getting deleted for no reason, because they just weren't flared, which is not really useful. So this is talking another one. This one's 86% upvoted, probably mod. The other one is 100% upvoted. I heard A got his moderator moved. Hayden hasn't been in here for a while. Maybe he's lurking. And the rest of the mods are devs. Is there an actual mod here that's dedicated to the subreddit? This opinion, the devs need to stop micromanaging everything. Get staff that aren't 12-year-olds, people who know what they're doing, and they can actually work at developing the game. It takes a lot of time to push out an update, and when in reality they spend a lot of time doing other things than just coding. We're just taking a short break. A and I will be back in a few. This will most likely be after discussing over how to properly manage over the subreddit. But it has been good to see that people are using the flares I made before. Yeah, this is, of course, when I come in, you can just leave. I mean, I wish I could just say, imagine if all the food workers were just like, yeah, we're actually, like, McDonald's just isn't open today because, you know, we don't want to show up today. See, look, I even pushed for a community manager back here 2 years ago. It's not like I'm against a community manager. I wanted a community manager. At this point, the mods really weren't doing anything in regards to the subreddit, so it doesn't surprise me. And you could tell here that this was probably a highly upvoted post at the time too, 5 posts, because, well, even still, there's so many posts that do well because they all get deleted. This one here caused a lot of riling up, 94% upvoted, 63 upvotes, and you'll see there's a lot of comments here. Full page, we'll get to the pages later. So I'm gonna read this out. The Surviv main Discord is too quick to ban and is corrupt. I, as well as nearly everyone that I play Surviv at a competitive level, I know that plays Surviv at a competitive level has been banned from the Surviv main server. What I'd get banned for? Raiding. In that I went to someone's server and tried to get an administrative role. When I confronted that the mod I was banned by nobody, he came up with some generic "you did wrong, so you're banned." Couldn't point me to what rule I'd broken and why the guy who succeeded in raiding my server after I attempted to raid his server afterwards didn't get banned. Also, I was banned for something without a reason by one mod, then unbanned, rebanned for raiding by another mod, just as confusing as it sounds. What one of my friends get banned for? Having the greater than symbol in his name, signifying he was part of a plan. One of my other friends got banned for having a smart mouth. This is the case of a guy who got banned for being staff in another server. This was Alex B, who was part of, I don't know, Toxic Clan, probably Team Greater, or maybe TG, I don't know. Everyone thinks that the Surviv main server mods are a joke because of this stuff. You can either get a mod that is corrupt and does whatever their friends want them to do without repercussion, a mod that is too scared to contradict what the other mod does, or a mod that doesn't care anymore, and it's really a shame. People, especially clan owners that use Surviv as a way to promote their server legitimately, are too scared to talk in Surviv main as fear of being banned, and I think that defeats the whole purpose of it. There aren't many people in the main server that have much experience because either they don't say anything because they're worried they're going to get banned, or they are banned, and I think that's destroying the community inside the main server. Now, I know that this is just going to get removed, although this does nothing wrong. Although this post does nothing wrong, I'm guessing. Although probably because it's not related to Surviv, even though it obviously is, or nothing is going to happen. But here's what I want to know. Do you keep adequate logs of what people does? And has a mod ever been confronted about something they may have done wrongly? How many bans are there in the main Surviv server? I know there have to be at least a couple hundred because nearly half the kids I play with are banned. There hasn't been a mod talking in here for 12 days. I don't know if they show up anymore, but I feel like they care just as little about the subreddit as they do the server. 112 comments here. Post did get removed, which it didn't break any rules. It was just against the hive mind, so they got it. Mr. Whalefish here, who wasn't the biggest fan of me, says that 100% agrees. Not much here. Around 1,000 or more people get banned from what I heard from Lamp, but it's not like the Surviv mods really give a care, LMAO. They are already corrupt to the point where being mod is the only role to get more power instead of actually helping the community. Xmod said a little over 2,000 bans. I believe it was like 2,700 in the middle of 2018 or 2019. That's an A's video. I don't know. I don't remember. I recorded that like a month ago, so you can look through there. I got banned for nothing, and I agreed to the mod team and the server needs to loosen up a bit because the whole pro community is not in there. They don't ban people for a fair reason, usually like me, for example. They also don't do bans, which are 100% bad because how easily a mod can ban you for literally nothing. Dragon Gunberg used to be arguably one of the biggest YouTubers, Surviv YouTubers. I got banned here and never got told why. My ban is for hacking. You should be unbanned even though I don't. Lamp just wanted me out of the server. Well, if you don't, we can check what mine was. Can you check what mine was? I was told it was nothing, but I was told it's for raiding, but I didn't raid anyone. Let's see, even he admits here that ban reason says reban from unban. But you cannot find proof of me raiding the server. I have a smart mouth. And I'm competitive. I haven't been banned. I don't know what this rating thing is about. This guy was often like trolling in here. I don't get it. The funny thing is when I asked you what rule they'd broken, they told me that it was for rating, but there is nothing anywhere near rating in the rules. And in fact, Justin told me 2 years ago that clan drama wasn't, this was wrong. It was actually Nick told me 2 years ago that clan drama wasn't to be messed with because it was too much work for the mods, which is true. I proved that in video 1. the fuss you're causing on the subreddit is revealing. Which one, if there's like a major issue and you're complaining about it, I wouldn't really call that fuss. I'd call it like trying to solve a major issue. It'd be one thing if I just like went in there and said, overthrow the mods, they're bad, whatever, and had no reason and had no thinking towards it. But there's like major things here. You guys can pause the video and read all this stuff here if you want. There's not too much. I confronted Sniper/A and he said they were working to get an unbanned system in place. That was 3 months ago. This is 1 year ago. Does it say specifically? Nope. Oh, it does. This is May 1st, 2019. So the unbanned system eventually came in about a year later when Libby became CM, maybe even later than that. But basically, he said that the mods are really difficult to, they're really busy, so they can't really implement new stuff, which is if there's issues, and if you can't, like at the end of the day, Surviv is a business. Even at that point when it wasn't owned by Congregate, if you don't have the infrastructure to run your business successfully, you can't complain when the business doesn't do well. And they were lucky with that. They were striving off of middle schoolers who were playing it at school regardless of how bad the game was. But if you don't have adequate infrastructure, then you need to do something to try to put in adequate infrastructure so that you don't have an issue like Congregate has right now where the game is struggling. Anyway, you guys can read all this here. I'm not going to put anything here. I was banned for posting a picture of some people trying to team with me. Got banned once. And now here's an old BS like common sense. I can ban you for whatever I want to thing here. It seems to be like a lot of things here that they were just super minor things. See here, another co-owner here that says they're scared of talking. So I mean, it's not just like anecdotal. I just can't make up stuff here. Even Fofo, who doesn't like me, agreed here. I think this definition here accurately describes Surviv main. Bribery doesn't have to be money, and this one is friendships. Yeah, I mean, you guys can go ahead and read this here. If you want to go read it, you can look up my username here, but a lot of this stuff here is just people instant banning or instantly getting banned instead of just proper punishment channels, which would be like at least a mute or at least a warn, mute, and then ban. Even better would be like a warn, 2 or 3 mutes, and then a ban. Of course, if it's obvious that you're just like spamming the N-word every time you get a muted, ban them. But if you make like one mistake, I don't think that should be the death penalty. In this case, accidentally spam pinging somebody or even purposefully spam pinging somebody like 5 times, you shouldn't get banned in my opinion. Mute them for 24 hours. Give them a chance to show that maybe that was a bad judgment move and then move on. Anyway, this was one of my posts. I got banned from that last post. This is just me trying to get some banter back. What's your guys' favorite emote? Mine personally is the leak. I already know why. So the interesting part about this subreddit is that this would be considered, actually maybe it's not anymore, but it was considered low quality. I don't know if they got rid of that, but it was removed because it was low quality basically. Got removed by Reddit spam filters. I think this is a fine post personally. I don't get the point of trying to get rid of everything in the subreddit that's not super high quality. So the point of a subreddit and the Reddit karma system is that top posts go to the top and bottom posts go to the bottom. There shouldn't be no reason to try to limit the amount of posts that get posted on the subreddit to like 5 posts a day, which is kind of like what it is now, where all the low quality posts get deleted. That's just my opinion. So anyway, next post. It do be this way. Sometimes get a $3,000 gaming computer, 1 GB fiber internet, Surviv still lags, which got deleted because it complained about an issue that they actually, to be fair, did attempt to fix it. They cleaned up a lot of their code. It's still spaghetti code, has a lot of issues, but it's better than nothing. I don't think anything that's considered anti-Surviv should be deleted unless it's without like, if it's either like character attacks on people or the game, or it's without basis. And I think here this is with basis because every other post was about lag. It's funny, it's topical. I don't see an issue with it. Here's another one, I posted again, gets banned or gets removed. Now here's talking about how to create a comp scene. This one wasn't very popular. So as a lot of you guys know, I ran the competitive scene for a year and a half or so. I also was partially responsible for technically professional because there was prize pool Hearthstone back in 2015-2016, where I helped as a moderator or a tournament moderator for a company called Battlefy. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. It's a pretty big company now. Back at that point, it was really small. That's my credibility. I now work for an esports company. That's my credibility. So I have credibility. Here's my idea on how to create a comp scene here. And this is just the beginner comp scene. And this was, keep in mind, this isn't my ideal comp scene because I'd like it to be bigger. I'd like it to be free. I'd like there to be money, a lot more money. But you also got to keep in mind that Congregate is very stingy with their money, which is why we've seen, or one of the reasons why we've seen no support for the esports scene and a battle pass that is ridiculously expensive. What, it's like $30 or something for a battle pass that keep in mind, Rocket League's Battle Pass is much better on a better game that's only $9 for every similar time period, and you can get your money a third of the price for a much better product. But anyway, here's my letter on how to create the comp scene. Hi guys, I'm writing a letter to Libby about what I want to see in a competitive scene. I'm going to post a rough draft here and see what you guys think about it. Any questions or things you want added, put down in the comments below. So how teams work, there'd be 12 teams, 5 to 10 players per team. Logos made for each team by the Congregate crew, which judging by their artistic abilities for a lot of the skins, I think would be low quality, but they could also outsource it because you can get a logo made for like $5, especially if you're making 12 logos. You can get them all for $50, I bet. Logo skins can be sold in the esports shop for 99 cents each. Players in each team would receive their skin for free. Logo skins fund the prize pool, and they'd also probably make profit too. They could even like pay like a quote-unquote community manager for the competitive scene a little bit of money based on the earnings here. Prize pool would be a small amount for the test season, maybe $100. Ideally, if it was like $500, that would be better. Recruiting for teams would be made independently of Surviv/competitive scene staff. Teams would play in a triple elimination tournament to determine the top 12 teams. After teams are determined to have qualified, they'll be sent to a separate server that is private only for players in order to not have to mess with perms with the main server / adding a ton of channels. How matches work: private servers where there are only 4 players on each team would play, and spectators to moderate the matches. Spectators would be staff members of the competitive server. Matches would be the best of 7 format for regular season and best of 9 for playoffs. Matches would be Friday/Saturday. Certain matches could be streamed on the official Surviv Twitch channel. Since the match takes from start to finish 1 hour, there could be 3 scheduled one day and 3 the other. The season would consist of 8 regular matches, and the top 8 would make it to a single elimination tournament to determine the winner. In theory, there could be 4 seasons a year with this time frame. How would this help Congregate? The competitive scene is fleeing the game. That could be factually proved. In general, the player base is fleeing the game. That could also be factually proved against what Libby says. At least it looks that way from the external look-in. While this is not a fix-all solution to getting rid of all the problems, I think keeping a player base incentivized, besides just playing a few minutes every few hours to get the XP needed for the Game Pass, I personally believe that giving people a reason to grind the game would increase the amount of people who stay with the community and increase the amount of time people spend playing the game in order to hone in their skills. I also pointed out to Libby a whole bunch of other ideas back in March, when she got hired or whenever she got hired, that would improve people staying around longer, but that's not really relevant to this, so I'm not going to cover it. I know, speaking for the lady that interviewed me for the community manager position that I'm not going to name because I don't want to dox her, this is the beginning of a program for Congregate with this type of project, aka buying Surviv instead of just taking a game for free and hosting another server. So I think feeling around the comp scene with a scene that already has past iterations would be a good stepping stone for the future. Additional work, while this may seem like a major concern, I don't think it would really be that big of an extra workload. I'm fairly confident you constantly get asked about the competitive scene. Because then you have to deal with all the complaints about the competitive scene. You just have to deal with a minor oversight with the competitive scene. There's also an issue with cheating. The solution to that would be create the private server off the custom server, because there aren't any good cheats for the server. Anything you guys you should add, put it down below. I'll be making a letter like this out every week. This was supposed to go to Libby, but she just kind of shut that down, so there wasn't really any point. Somebody commented here, which I think is really wrong, that Surviv is too RNG to support a competitive scene like that. You would have to alter the way the game works on a fundamental level, preset loadouts, or around by a system like Counter-Strike or something else of that nature. You can't really get a competitive scene when a game can be decided purely based on who gets better loot on the beginning, which I think is fundamentally wrong, because Battle Royale genre in general has a little bit of luck in RNG when it comes to loot. I mean, think about Fortnite, think about PUBG, think about just any BR in general. There's an incentive actually for, well, it's a little bit different here because it'd only be at 2 teams, but if there's a big lobby where there's actually 80 players, there's an incentive to get really aggressive early on game to get better loot, and then you could have an advantage against your opponents. But anyway, you guys can go ahead and read this if you want. There's not really much of a point. Ply, who's a big fan of what Ply does here. TBH, I agree with this. Issues that Congregate doesn't quote unquote deal with third-party stuff. This is even quoted by Libby, by the way. I should stop saying Congregate since there's only one person to figure out a big corporation SMH, which is true according to Libby. According to Congregate TOS, that's not true, so I don't understand. Anyway, next post. If you guys want to look at all the comments, go for it. This meme was originally removed and then taken down. Surviv players when the servers go down for 30 minutes. I thought it was funny because the subreddit here was getting spammed with like, why are the servers down? Why are the servers down? Fix the servers, fix the servers. So I thought that was funny. It originally got removed. It got reinstated, but she said like, well, it's not really appropriate because it's kind of proving that people can act like this. And I was like, what the heck? People are lighting their houses on fire whenever the Surviv servers go down. Like, I don't understand it. It was obviously a joke. Like, maybe she doesn't understand jokes, or maybe she's just trying to take down, I don't know. 97% upvoted, so obviously people didn't really disagree with it. Then I did a Surviv art where basically this was super easy. I just the Surviv's new, Photoshop this on, and then Photoshop this on the background. Can we stop all the advertising? In the rule that specifically says no advertising at the majority of posts, and here are people advertising their YouTube. I get it, I'm a YouTuber / streamer too, but the rules are the rules, and I'd rather not have the majority of the posts be advertising, and since Libby is really the only one that comes in here, they stay for a while and adds to our workload, which never really helps anyone. Once again, it should be pretty obvious that I'm trying to help Libby here. Oh, just past 3 months. Once again, I'm not, like, I don't hate Libby. Once again, Surviv creator app that only focuses on people who are 100%. Also, this is cap. I never received an email, and mine's been declined, I know 100%. Yeah, there's a post here about old versus new Reddit because old wasn't updated. And here's my last post here before I got banned. 83% upvoted, so some people didn't like this. I'll read through it real quick. A lot of you OG people probably know me or know of me. My name is Cryptic. I used to run the competitive scene from April 2019 and April 2020 when I decided to disband my league. I also used to be the largest Surviv server on stream. What most of y'all, besides the really diehard competitive player, don't know is that I actually applied for Libby's job. I, being a sophomore in college, wanted to find myself an entry-level position in gaming or esports that could help me get a really nice esports business job when I graduated. And me, being someone who has played Surviv since December of 2017, had run the competitive scene for 6 months at this point, as someone who has years of experience working in startups and social media marketing field. That's kind of cap. I had like a year, but whatever. Was hoping it would be an easy position for me to secure and would kickstart me in a great career path. Unfortunately, I had some very strong competition. Whatever your opinion on Libby is, on paper she is incredibly overqualified for this position. Out of fear of doxing her, I'm not going to go too far into her qualifications, but she has a master's degree in a social media related field and has an incredibly long list of well-known companies that she has worked for. This is actually an interesting theory here, because me as a recruiter would notice this as a red flag. She's been working for like, I don't know how long it's been, but she averages like 7 to 9 months at a job, which is concerning because that's usually the time period when people figure out the blame for why a project isn't working. 6 months you say, oh, you know, it's just a new project, it's working because this, it's not working because of this. After this period, they start to figure out why there's an issue and what they can try to do to fix the issue. So I'm guessing she's been fired from past jobs. I have besides just thinking logically, I have no evidence to back this up. But I'm guessing she has been fired or either quit because she was underperforming at past jobs. So that's a concern that we know here. She also does have a master's degree. I'm not surprised at all that I didn't get this job. I technically have no experience in this job position, and she has extensive history. However, when I was told that I was not going to get the position at Congregate, I decided to write a letter to the hiring manager with some advice. While I didn't have experience with working as a CM, I had extensive experience elsewhere, and a major advantage of knowing the Surviv community probably better than anybody else. Here's what I wrote. You guys can look at this here. It's very long. This was part of the stuff I was talking with before. It's what, like 6 pages, 4 pages? Pretty stock full of stuff. I'll link it down below. Once Libby became the official CM, I also sent her this letter. And what's upsetting is that they really didn't listen to it. The only thing that you could say they fixed was the racial slurs. And that was only because I, and I'm sure others, complained about it multiple times since then. I was also part of the competitive Surviv task force where we presented 53 ideas to Libby over a few weeks. Of those, only 2 were added, mine's and Steam support, of which I'm not even confident that those ideas were actually our suggestions specifically. Probably just ideas that ended up being used somewhere else. Here's the full list of ideas. I'm actually going to make videos about this, so I'm not going to show you that. You guys can still look at it if you want. It's not difficult to find. You just find my post here. So what's my point about on this post? I guess there's not really an super extensive point. Just to say that I tried so hard to listen. They didn't. Now the game is struggling. I don't stream anymore because the new ending screen made it difficult for me to host squads like I did before. I don't own a comp scene anymore because there were 2 hackers that made it difficult to have a comp scene. And I alerted Libby about all these issues the first minute I could over 9 months ago. There's a major issue with communication in this game, and unless there are major changes, it's not going to improve. The game's going to die more, and Congregate's going to r/subreddit my face. There was overwhelming popularity here. I still believe in Kong. They just have major communication issues with the community, as you said. No matter what is thrown at us, just accept it. Which I think is a really bad idea because people aren't willing to change if you don't complain that there's issues. I'm talking about how they have so many employees work for them, how bad a business like Congregate is run when it has these issues. Oh, that's just somebody saying, I wonder if this got deleted here. Somebody said, Cryptic, I wish you had gotten the job. Imagine this getting deleted. She says, I manage all the community platforms in addition to working with the game team on gathering feedback, suggestions, and ideas in the community. Oh, she changed this. Oh, all community platforms. Okay, so I think she mentioned Twitter and stuff in here, which she hasn't posted anything on. You're blacklisted. We've spoken to you about this privately several times. Once again, I can prove with 2 different clips that this is wrong. I want to talk about this in here. Let me just copy and paste this for safekeeping. Yeah, this game is struggling. What can you do? Pretty much nothing. For a company with 8 to 10 people per update / one thing, you should automatically think it's, hey, there should be high quality stuff where there isn't. I'm not sure how two people can do better than a massive company. Is it the lack of opinions options? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure Libby said there's no comp scene. I said Libby didn't say there was no comp scene, just that the comp scene didn't need any help running itself, which is true. We didn't need help running the scene, but things could have been much better if we had resources for the scene, specifically money for a prize, or if not, just private lobbies that we could have teams 4v4 on, or anti-cheat would have helped. What I wanted the company to do from the beginning, they can no longer do. Their social media is gone, the public opinion is not in their favor, and will take a lot of change to fix it. I'm guessing that the blame game is happening. Why is the game failing? Because X reason, not because we did something bad. So maybe they're blaming it on COVID or Flash not working anymore, hackers, or something else that could be taken out of their blame. I always found while working with members of the Surviv team that they were too busy talking about being too busy than actually working. I hear a lot of rules are going to change. I'm working on them now, and then a few months later I hear that they're unhappy with the rules and they're going to change them eventually, and then no rules get changed. So instead of having multiple conversations about how the rules were bad, they could have fixed the rules on day one and of noticing an issue, and there'd be no more issues. That kind of thing. This is interesting here. This post is entirely misleading, and since you've made a public conversation, I'd like to clarify here. I think I can prove this actually, so this will be interesting for me to try to prove. When we've spoken about the competitive scene, third-party organized groups unaffiliated with the game itself, which is not true. It's not affiliated with the company that runs the game itself. It is still affiliated with the company, even though it is not officially sponsored server by the company. She says, I've said things like, it looks like you guys have done a lot of organization, and when third-party orgs come to me with respect, I'm happy to open up a conversation about pain points in their gameplay. Surviv ever ran its own competitive or ranked play, we'd certainly want to hear those who had done it at the grassroots level to see players might want out of an official league, which is interesting because I sent her 22 pages worth of information that the competitive scene wants from both the game aspect and the competitive scene aspect. So this is cap here because I never got anything out of that. We had a task force with me, Firewave, GGG Pro, Levi was there, maybe Sleepy was there, I don't know. There was 10 of us in the group chat with Libby, I guess 9 of us plus Libby in a group chat talking about stuff, and we got literally nothing accomplished out of that. After a month, Firewave took us out of that, and then I a couple times continued conversation with Libby, not really much happened. So while she's open to having a conversation, she's not really open to doing much about it. But anyway, however, I never said you don't need help running it. Clearly with the toxicity level still a clan, an issue in clans, help is needed. I'm just not the person who can help you. As one person, I can't go around and independently verify every single team server and make sure it follows Congregate's code of conduct, which is not really a thing in Congregate's code of conduct. Well, you could argue that being toxic is, but independently going around and verifying is not something that needs to be done. That's why we currently don't allow endorsement of any clan, team, league, or any third-party communication on any platforms, which is cap. Well, yeah, that's not the reason. Congregate specifically allows third-party stuff as long as it's not directly like an inappropriate website. I can't guarantee someone's experience there, so we can't send people there. It's as simple as that. And on your point about the Reddit rules, the rules did change several months ago. Someone pointed out they don't change on old Reddit, so I adjusted for that too. If there's another rule you'd like to see change, again, suggestions are always open, either on the community platform like Reddit or directly in my DMs. They always have been open to you and all the other players of Surviv, which is kind of incorrect because at this point I was not friends with Libby, so I could not communicate with her, and it took her like a week to accept my friend request, then she removed it, and then I sent it again, and then she accepted it, then I messaged her. So she didn't respond to this, which is very interesting. Congregate's code of conduct. We at Congregate know that there are other websites out there, and some of them are pretty awesome. We have no problem with users sharing links to outside websites and chats or the forums, as long as they're not pornographic or otherwise obviously inappropriate. We're also fine with outside links posted in game comments, as long as they somehow relate to a discussion about the specific game. However, spamming referral links to other sites across games, threads, or chat rooms on Congregate will most likely result in a silence or ban. We don't need an endorsement, just a place in the chat room that is Discord for us to put links to an outside website. A competitive Discord server doesn't break any rules according to Kong. We didn't need help running the scene. We needed some sort of stability and for development to stop throwing roadblocks in our way. Having the server so laggy that half people couldn't play, and having squads was available 2 times a week makes it very difficult to play 24 matches a week. No response, which is a typical Libby response. As soon as you have her pinned down where she can't refute anything, she just won't respond, and this happens in both DMs and in the public thing here. Yeah, she deleted that. It's obvious that she's just against anybody who looks like a threat to her job, I'm guessing, or a threat to the job that she's supposedly doing. It's obvious here that there's just fundamental issues with the community, and I think heads have to roll sometimes. And I think at this point, you either fundamentally say that the community is bad and there's no way to fix it, or heads have to roll to change it. And maybe one thing has to happen. You can't just say the community's fine and la 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 heads in the sand. Say the community's fine when You're getting 15,000 messages a day on an 80,000 person server, and everybody who supports the game is banned. There's just fundamental issues there, but it's whatever. There's nothing I can fix. That's part 4 out the way. Part 5 will be on John. Part 6 will be a wrap up. Maybe I'll do a bonus part after that. It's supposed to be a 2-part series that's now gone into. This video is probably 30 minutes, so what, like an hour and 50 minutes, so probably like 2.5 hours in the end, but it's whatever. I'll keep hitting you guys with documentary series. We can see here, this one's going to be like the 3rd, and then there's going to be one on the 10th, and then one on the 17th, and then I'll be going into ideas on how to make the game. I've got a 50 or so of those. Then I've got the like 100-part series on refuting everything Libby says as a community manager, which I might continue after I've got all those videos put out. So there's gonna be a lot of content for you guys on this channel. But without further ado, I will end the video here. If nobody's here, I bet, but if you are, please like and subscribe this video.